Thank you very much, Annalisa. It's lovely to be here, and it's lovely to have you all here and be able to sort of just connect with you. What I would like to do is something a little more practical this afternoon, so I apologise. I know you've been listening to everyone. Now I want to get you involved. And it's to do with the things that, say, Monica was saying, you know, the tips, the kind of sponsors. Who are these people? You know, how do I get from 2 a.m. in a toilet? And I feel closer to you, Monica, now, actually, to kind of know that you were there working really hard, trying to get this presentation done. And that's very, very typical of what women do. Women are very meritocratic. We think we can work this hard and someone is going to notice. Of course they are. You know, I've been doing this. Look at the results. Whereas my male counterpart would be there going, hey, I've done this. And they'll go, yep, Steve did that. Steve was the one that put that together. And I'm there kind of going, pardon? You know, I've just done this. So what I wanted to do was kind of just talk with you a little bit about why does it matter? Why does it matter for women to go through organisations? You know, what's the point? Being a business school, I see a trend happening here, Wendy, actually. I've also got some slides, I promise you. They're not very many, but I just wanted to kind of show you the reasons why we believe that actually it's very important to have that word diversity go through the organisation. So we're talking about quotas. Michael mentioned quotas. I talk about diversity as well, because diversity is the main thing that exists between a group of women and men in the same room. Women have a very different perspective, very different approach. We've touched on this earlier. They're kind of looking at situations somewhat differently to male counterparts, but very complementary. We've talked about women being great leaders. How are they great leaders? Well, they're transformational. They are people that actually develop, collaborate, bring together networks, and actually get processes done in a kind of win-win kind of way. And what we also find as well is that, you know, there's a lot of thought around the studies that have been done in regards to what effect women have had on boards. Why should women be on boards? Well, straight away we've got 3 facts here. We've got, you know, sort of return on sales, return on equity, return on capital employed. All of these show a very positive effect when women have been on boards, and we've actually looked at this with the Fortune 500 companies. So clearly there is a difference. On 360-degree assessments, I don't know if many of you have had those as you've gone through the organisation, we've been able to sort of have a look at, okay, well, what are the results here? And what you'll find, actually, the slide's slightly distorted, and these sort of 4 should be along here, is that women have actually outperformed in pretty much all of these positions, the effectiveness with regards to kind of managing in that position and leading in that position. And that literally is, as I refer back to, that kind of, that difference, that collaboration, you know, that really developing people around you to be able to perform better, and therefore the performance of the entire department becomes better. And what I sort of wanted to kind of touch upon here is something that Monica said with regards to defining the people around you. And this is where I hope you'll indulge me with regards to taking part in just something around experiential, kind of, you know, sort of learning here today. And it involves you closing your eyes. Now, do you trust me? Yes. Thank you. Okay. So just for a short while, if you just close your eyes, okay, and just make yourselves feel quite comfortable in the position you are. So adjust yourself if needed to be. Just become nice and relaxed. Okay, and just take a couple of deep breaths. Just get yourself in a really nice, relaxed state, and then we'll begin. So basically, what I want you to do, first of all, is think about that sort of colleague around you, or those colleagues around you, that sometimes you kind of feel a bit invisible. So they kind of make you feel a little bit invisible. They possibly make you feel a little bit unfulfilled. You don't feel as developed by those people as maybe you could be. And sometimes you feel quite frustrated. You could feel drained, possibly after meeting with those people for a while. And sometimes you think they've got their own agenda. Those people have got their own agenda, and you kind of think you're just not going to get your point across. So you might as well just keep doing what you do, okay? And I'm just going to take a moment to have a think about those sort of people. It could be 1 or 2 people in a professional capacity, ideally. All right? So now that you've got that person in your head, I just want you to think about that person and just keep them in your mind just for a moment. But also I want you to kind of just suddenly shake off the negative feelings. I know I'm not going out evangelical, I promise you, just shake off the negative feelings. We're going into another state soon, okay? So now I want you to take another couple of deep breaths, and I want you to think about someone else. I want you to think about that person that inspires you, that makes you feel visible, that allows you to develop yourself, that, you know, that sort of inspires you and energizes you and gives you kind of space to grow. Does everybody sort of have those two people in their minds? Okay, wonderful. All right. So I want you to now open your eyes, and I want you to park those two people in your minds, because I will come back to them in a moment. All right? Now, those two people are going to be quite critical with regards to you and your career and where you're going. And obviously, Monica touched on this slightly earlier, so we'll identify who those people are. But I also want to take you on another journey, because the reason why I'm doing this is to kind of show you the sort of things that educational institutions and coaches like Tracy, like Caroline, like Jane, like other coaches in this room I haven't got to meet yet, are vital for with regards to kind of getting from that point that you are now to where Monica was kind of saying earlier. You know, how do you get there? Well, I'm going to give you a few practical things that you might want to think about on this second part of the journey before we go back to where you've just been. It's behaviour. Behaviour is quite key with regards to kind of the sort of outcomes that kind of come from where we are, from any situations we're in. And what I mean is this. We touched slightly on the fact that women are just naturally more about kind of the merit side. You know, I've done all this work, you should recognise what I've done. You know, this is me, this is who I am. You get results from me. However, often we don't wave the flag. We don't say, by the way, this is what I've done. You know, when we're saying about courage, when we're saying about being bold, actually these are just small things that we can do that can really raise the profile of who we are within the organisation. I wouldn't see, and the only reason I touched on the 2 a.m., if I were managing Monica, I wouldn't have seen that. But I would have seen a great presentation, but I wouldn't have seen all the effort behind that. Monica might not necessarily have made me aware that she was interested in a promotion, you know, whereas maybe my male counterpart and you know, say Steve, we'll go back to Steve, may have said, actually, yeah, if there's anything coming up, I'm really interested in that. I'm too busy, I'm getting the work done, I'm not thinking about sort of Steve over here, kind of, you know, having drinks in the evening and talking about that. But the other thing is something for you to think about here as well. Now, the courage part. So if you see a job or a promotion or anything like that, women, and I forgive me if you don't feel this is quite correct, see 70% of that job and they'll say, yes, I'm going to go for that job. That's it, I can do that job. I can do 70, I'm pretty confident I can do that. Male counterparts, 30% of that job, yeah, I can do it. That's fine. I'm going to go for it. And already we see the differences, just differences in the way that we're thinking, in the way that we're kind of, you know, sort of approaching various things within our working lives, and just changing those slightly make a huge difference with regards to kind of, you know, the career path that we're going to take, and the way that we're noticed by colleagues above us. Now, if we just go back to the exercise that you indulged me in, and thank you very much. What you did there was you actually identified the gatekeepers, so those first people that we mentioned, okay? Those are the gatekeepers, actually. Those are the people that are kind of block you, you know, potentially. They're not going to support you. They're not going to be your sponsors, okay? So the energy you kind of put towards those people is quite wasted, actually. And then you take the other people that you saw in your mind. Those are going to be your sponsors. Those are the people that are going to help you get from one place to another place. All right, they're going to be able to help you undertake some coaching, undertake some programs like this, for example. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, we need those people. You absolutely need to identify those people. And I hope that exercise has helped you just put some of the words into practice that we've kind of spoken about today. And the idea behind this very much is looking at what techniques you can use. Now, educational institutions, Wendy, myself, we have programs that are full of toolkits and frameworks. if you kind of think that's kind of quite a lot for you to actually absorb, you have Tracy, you have Caroline, you have Jane, as I say, the other coaches. Again, it's just toolkits and frameworks. That's the way that you do it. Literally, it kind of gives you a landscape that you are much more aware of and you can read much more highly with regards to where you want to be. And I fully encourage you to really look at the types of things that might be able to help you in that sense. And network and get in contact with the types of people that can help you. And you can do these things from as little as about sort of £20, £30. If you have sort of coaching sessions, you know, so they are affordable and they do make a significant difference. Coaching, as we know, is very much about you doing something differently. You already know what you need to do, but you've been approaching it in a very different way. So think about the other ways that you can help yourself move forward within the organisation. And wave your flag is my advice. Wave your flag. You deserve it. Okay. So you find yourself very focused in the work, and you're sort of, you know, you're kind of presenting this, but you sort of, you know, the others around you haven't really seen how much you've done. Wave your flag. You deserve it. You own it. Thank you very much. I hope that's been helpful.